Hello and welcome to the Hope Hotline. Thank you for joining us today, this beautiful, non-rainy Wednesday. God bless it.
I know, finally.
Finally. I am sick of the rain. And I would say that that's a problem, but it's probably we're going to kick it up a notch probably in July, August, and September.
Yeah.
It's just the beginning.
This is just the beginning.
I like the rain. I love it.
So does Tootie.
I got water problems right now.
I like the rain in small dosages,
Me
like
too.
a day.
Sprinkles.
Yeah.
I could go weeks of rain.
No,
and I'd be happy.
I am solar powered. I need.
Yeah, you need this.
Same.
That's how you run.
Just sprinkles here and there. I'm fine with sprinkles.
Yeah.
And nothing that makes us go into droughts, but the rain is just too much. So hopefully for the rest of the week, it's nice and sunny. It was 95 degrees per my car this morning. So if
my
you don't live in the state of sunny Florida, you're enjoying really great weather.
Yeah.
That it's cool, spring, summery weather,
Yep. Yep.
but not us.
True.
It's hotter than Hades.
True.
So
True.
I don't know what to say. I
Yeah.
got nothing.
Okay.
I got nothing.
Got nothing.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Want me to just do it?
Yeah, do it to it, girl.
All right. If you are live on Facebook, we are glad that you're watching. Let's see. Cancel. I'm going to see who's watching right now. Actually, I'm just going to go to Rumble and see who's over there. Hey, Sharon. Glad you're joining us. If you are watching on YouTube, we're excited to see you over there as well. In Black Robe, you can always go over there, blackrobetv.com. That's our own platform. And, of course, the audio podcast will be available later. Again, if you are on Facebook, like, share, comment. If you are on Rumble, there's the option to repost, and you can just say, watch live with us. And then just repost. That's all you can do. And then give a thumbs up. That would be really great. If you want to leave any comments, feel free to. And then YouTube, again, if you subscribe and do all that kinds of stuff, it will help you just remind you that we are live. So you'll get that little notification if you have those turned on. Also, if you are noticing on YouTube, we are pumping out a bunch of shorts and they are doing pretty good. So that's exciting. Finally finding ways to get around the algorithm. But we're glad to see you. And if you are on TikTok, I'm glad that you're joining with us. We will have a double, Norma's in the background. We'll have a double live in a second once we get that going. But I'm glad that you're here, and we're excited to get this podcast up and going. Today we have a few good questions, so stick around to find out about that. If you have your own questions, we'd love to hear from you. You can send them in to askhope at hopehotline.com. You can also send them in through DM on Instagram or on TikTok, wherever. I'll probably find them somehow, some way. But if I don't, and you've sent one in, or if you sent one in a long time ago and you haven't heard us get to it yet at this point, please resend it. There's a chance that it did get lost, but I don't keep waiting around. Be proactive. Send it in again. Let us know. We will not be annoyed that you sent it in again. And I'll let you know if we did answer it and you missed it or whatever. But yeah, please send those questions in. Hey, it's Hope01. You want to check her out on TikTok. We are moving and grooving over there. Got some fun stuff coming up too, some different stuff. So you'll want to check that out. If you're scrolling on TikTok, head over there, like and share and save and comment and do all that fun stuff for us. We're going to try to get them over here as well, so you can come watch us. So if you're watching on the Hope Hotline TikTok right now, I'm glad that you're watching with us. If you want a better user experience, you can head over to Rumble, or you can just hang out on TikTok with us. We have a bunch of stuff that we put up on TikTok over there as well. And we're excited to be able to be on all these different platforms and, again, beat the algorithm. Nick Hansen will be here on July 2nd. So that'll be exciting. I'll have
I
a
can't wait.
Great story to tell and some fun stuff going on for that day. So he is one of our sponsors. So you'll want to check that out for sure. Don't miss that day. Natalie will be back. She's usually here every single month, so we're going to figure that out. We've got some big stuff going on at the end of the month. We got a new Dare to Be coming up, so we'll have to figure out Natalie's situation. But yeah, we'll have her back on. So in that case, please send in any questions that you have for her. We'd love to get those answered. couple more. Instagram, follow us over there. It's easy to find us, the Hope Hotline, pretty much everywhere you look. And then our merch also. We have that available, foundationchurchfl.com. Click shop or come to Foundation Church on Sunday and you can buy some there. You cannot take it. You can buy it and then you can take it once you purchase it. But I think that's pretty much it for today.
Lovely.
Yeah.
It's a lovely day.
It is.
I have, you guys, I don't know who needs to be doing this, but I got coffee coming. So somebody needs to be watching for that.
I'll go grab it.
Yeah.
I can't tell because TikTok is using my phone.
Yeah. Kellyanne, when you see it pop up,
They're heading our way right now.
it should pop up.
Oh, yeah, just let me know and I'll go get it. So I can stay on the phone.
Yeah. I know. You know,
I'm so tired right now.
she needs a boost.
You
I'm
look
living on-
great.
Yeah.
Living on fumes.
Look like a beauty queen.
Beauty queen.
I didn't even do my hair.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Thank
Oh,
you for
Neither
that.
did I. Did you
Same.
stay up late?
Oh my gosh. Did I stay up late? I've been working like a dog.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So I go home after Tom's podcast and I'm laying there in bed and I'm like, decompress. And it's 1 a.m. and I get a text and I'm not asleep, but I'm like right there. Mm-hmm. And I get a text from my son. Mom, can you send me the car insurance information, please?
No.
And I'm like,
no.
I call him, did you get pulled over? Yes, ma'am, I did. And I'm like,
Yikes.
I can't get in on my app.
No.
To send a picture. I can't get in on my computer. I'm having to by this time, he's now gotten a ticket
Oh, gosh.
because the cop's tired of waiting.
Right.
So I didn't go to bed. I didn't go to bed until like 1:45 or something like that. Then I didn't go to sleep. I mean, so yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's better than what I thought. I thought it was going to be like an accident.
Oh
And then I'm
no!
like,
Thank you,
ugh,
Jesus.
I know.
That does not. That is not and will not happen. Huh?
Absolutely, it
Was he
won't.
speeding?
No, he was down going to Munchies, and the cops are down that way trying to pick up.
Right.
They saw him come out at Munchies, so they think he's either high or drunk, one of the two. Because Munchies, hello, it's called that
Not
for a reason.
Great place to go.
Munchies 420.
Yeah,
But it's
exactly.
delicious.
It's so
Oh,
good,
it's so
but they
good.
got the best chicken and waffles.
It is really good.
So
Oh
good.
my gosh!
Yeah.
But because of that, the cop was sitting there waiting for people to pull out of Munchies.
Yeah.
And as soon as they found out that he's not one of theirs, he had to give him something. Because he even was like, he said that his tags, his ticket, that his tags were expired. I'm like, no, they're not. I said to Tommy, it's like, no, they're not. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oh boy.
Cops.
They've been
Jeez.
pissing me off recently.
Oh man.
I'm not joking. They've been ridiculous recently.
This reminds me to know, to know where my registration is, and
I don't even have
to
my insurance.
Have
I
my
shouldn't have said
insurance
that.
card.
Insurance
I
cards
have
are
insurance,
important.
but I don't have it in my
The
car.
insurance
digital
card,
app.
I
Digital
do.
copy.
I know.
I
need to get
have
the app.
I have one for you now to put
Oh.
in your car. It's on my desk.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Believe
I'm pretty
me,
sure
printed
my
them all.
registration's
My
in my
momager.
car.
Should be.
For anybody who's watching,
Get the right
Tom was a
sticker?
cop. Like, so I'm not like busting
Yeah,
cops.
she
I'm
was a
making
cop
I've
wife.
seen cops a little bit. They're last night and the night before. They've been
married to one. They've been
uptight little turds.
they are up and down this
I
road
am.
right now.
Well, they're just pulling people over.
They're all over.
They
quotas
are.
everywhere
must
right
be
now.
quotas.
I know
Must
Northport
need
is like
quotas.
wild right now. I'm
I-
like,
Listen, I ain't a cop hater, but right now I am a little. They're annoying me. I
I
can't
go
speed
the,
anywhere.
I go the speed limit. I don't.
Yeah, you're good. You're safe.
But I'm
They're on
still
a rampage
paranoid.
right now.
I only go.
They're on
Yeah,
a
but
rampage.
pretty bad
They are.
sometimes, bro.
So needless to say, I got a question.
Okay.
Speak
I
loud.
just
'cause
I don't have a
can't hear you.
question. Can I answer my own question?
you can.
I'll
It
answer.
requires little to no brain power.
Okay.
Okay.
We're ready.
Let's
I
do
don't
it.
have it. I don't
No.
have one. That requires brain power. I'd have to think of one. Oh my gosh. All right, let's go to the first question.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
I need that coffee really bad. That's all I'm
We'll be here
saying.
soon.
It's coming.
I'm
it's coming.
barely hanging on, people. It's been many days of late nights.
I know.
Okay.
Anyway.
Says, I love Jesus, but my family isn't Christian, and sometimes it feels like we're living on different planets. Every holiday turns into a minefield, and I'm tired of the tension. How do I honor my family without watering down my faith? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, pretty much everybody in this room, except, well, I don't know about Kelly. Kelly's sitting here too, but pretty much everybody in the peanut gallery, except for Tracy, knows what this is like. Tracy, on the other hand, she lives in gumdrops and bubble gum and rainbows.
What?
Bobsky's the best.
She doesn't ever deal with
I know what
any,
you're saying.
like even your extended family besides your personal family. Mm-hmm. You never have dealt with tension or anything.
Yeah, there's a couple, but they kind of stay away.
I wish my family did that.
That's not the way it is.
I know. So that's like the favor is that they don't come around.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep. I got a couple, but for the most part, I know. It's
I mean, Vanessa,
uncommon.
You've had to deal with it too, correct?
My
Isn't that what you
in-laws are
said? Not your in-laws. I'm saying you've had to deal with tension with different family members at different times for holidays, or
Oh.
nobody came around. This is
yeah.
this person saying every holiday turns into a minefield. Mine's not every holiday, but we've had holidays where it was pretty tense
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
because we're all on different sides of
Yeah.
things,
Mm-hmm.
and that's rough.
Yeah, I was thinking my in-laws aren't like believers necessarily, but it's always just like chill.
Copacetic.
Like, we stay in our lanes, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
That
know?
doesn't always happen with everybody that's in your family.
Right. Yeah. My brother being one.
Yeah, I mean, I've had it too with my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not always the
You know how you
easiest.
handle that. Just don't talk to them. That's what I do.
Well, in some ways, that's possible, and in other ways, it's not. And this
Small talk
person's trying to this person is trying to figure out how to navigate and keep their faith when the
People are
landmine
questioning it?
happens.
Are they like being questioned about their faith? Like,
I don't know.
Or like,
I don't know. It doesn't say that. It just says that how do I honor my family without watering down my faith? Because they're not saved.
Well-
And it's like being polar opposites of each other. Which being polar opposites are okay. I mean, like on Tom's side of the family, we're very polar opposite. But like for the most part, except for certain things, hey, I think they're out there. God bless. He's calling or she's calling. One of them are calling. Okay. So
Very important.
it is very important. if this podcast is going to keep going, it's super important. So like when COVID was around, that was because that was different because we were very opposite and they were very vocal.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. They didn't see eye to eye on it. Now my family, there were some of us very opposite, but nobody was vocal. That's not always the case on my side of the family with Christianity, because we're all, for the most part, Christians in my family, but all of us have differing viewpoints on Christianity and what that looks like.
Yeah.
Whereas Tom's family, not Christian, they're Catholic, which people say, well, that's Christianity too. But I'm just saying it's different though, like from ours. It's a differing theology of Christianity, and they don't even practice. They don't practice Catholicism at all. They say they're Catholic, but I would say, even though they say they're Catholic, that when you don't practice it, what is that?
Right.
I don't know because I'm not Catholic. Do you know?
Non-practicing?
Do you know other? Do you not practicing? But would they even call themselves there are people who are Christians that don't live like Christians, don't even go to church. They call themselves Christian in their lives, but we would say they're not saved.
Right.
Right.
Okay, but Catholics, they don't consider themselves to be saved. They call themselves Catholic, right? Because Tom never said he was saved.
No.
When he was Catholic, he
Do they
just
call
said, I'm
themselves
Catholic.
Saints? I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they just call themselves Catholic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's And then they'll be like, "Oh, are you practicing?" And they're like, "Well,
Yeah.
I only go on like holidays and stuff."
Christmas and
But
Easter.
I got christened and baptized in the
Compromised.
church.
CCD and all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am on the. I'm not off on this.
I don't think so.
Okay. So they say they're not practicing. I mean, and they really don't ever. God bless you. And they never really. So they never really say anything to us about anything Christian, religious in their eyes or whatever. But the other stuff is like a hot topic on other things. So for us, there's been no landmines except for when COVID came around, and and landmines on my other side when it comes to Christianity and things. Nope. That small one's mine, and the other one is Heather's. And I need a straw if it came with a straw.
Here.
Okay, then God bless. Thank you, dear. You're not even close. and so for me, this is what I say. Well, what do you guys say? What would you do? Well, Tracy has no experience, so we're not going to listen to anything she says because she doesn't even know what she's talking about.
I'll check out.
What would I do in this scenario?
Or what do you do in this scenario?
Well, I mean, I kind of like live this out with Jeff's family.
But she's saying like it's a minefield,
But
and
why
you
is
don't
it a
do that with
minefield?
your
Like,
family.
why is
I
it a
know. I don't
minefield?
know.
Right.
Are you coming in there like, say Jesus
Right.
is Lord?
Yeah.
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like,
You're going to hell.
Yeah,
time
which
you
is
see
not
them.
smart.
right? Are you going in there with your own agenda, with what you want to see taking place? Like, are you going in there hostile?
That's Heather's.
Heather's?
Oh, Heather. Oh, it is Heather's.
So it all depends on like how you're entering into the situation, the home, the scenario.
That's a good point.
Because it's very peaceful. Like my whenever I'm around, my
I was
family
there for the
members-
hurricane with you guys and her in-laws.
It's very peaceful.
And we had a great time.
yeah.
See, and
In a
that
crazy situation. Like,
Tom's
that was crazy.
family?
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know if they would be peaceful in a hurricane, but I'm just saying when we're
Right.
normally with them,
Right.
Yeah.
it's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Like it's easy peasy. Like his cousins, like she's and her kids. I mean, it's super easy, and we're the only Christians walking into the room, and I mean
So my
we're
question,
the ones.
did you set up boundaries? Did you guys say like we're just not talking about these things? Like
No, everybody's just super respectful of one
Okay.
another,
You
and we
kinda know
don't
where you
cross
stand.
lines.
Same
But
here, we never had to have a conversation.
Never.
Like,
Right. Okay.
they just know where we stand. We know, and we know where they stand.
and no buttons are pushed
Right.
for the most part. We've had different family members try and push buttons,
Okay.
but the people that are close to them basically say, "Knock it off."
Okay.
It's usually somebody married into the
Yeah, that makes sense.
where it happens,
Yep.
but
Yep.
we're not in there like I'm like you, Vanessa. I'm not walking in there like trying to like
Yeah.
preach
Right.
or storm the gates of hell
Right.
or whatever. I mean, I just
I let my life be a witness to them.
Yeah.
When I'm in the room, I change the atmosphere. Like peace enters with me, joy enters with me.
yeah.
And so I just don't. It's hard for me to relate to this.
To a certain degree, it is for me, excuse me, and then in other parts it's not.
Right.
Like because on my other side of the family, my personal side, we're all very strong, opinionated people, but saved. And it's a different thing because I'm not trying to win them to the
Yeah.
Lord.
Right.
We just have differing theologies on things, and so usually we try and keep that off. But there have been times, like literally, it's kind of looked like the Jerry Springer show a couple times.
Oh my gosh.
It's not really involved me. I keep I usually just try and just
You grab the popcorn.
a couple times, or I left.
Yeah.
I left.
Yeah.
I mean, it has Tommy was one of them when he got into a boxing match with one of my nephews,
Oh.
my gosh.
and they were younger. Then I left. That was me being the Jerry Springer, my son. But he got tired of being picked on.
Okay.
Like he touched a punching bag, so he finally was like, "Okay, I'm not going to be the punching bag.
Yeah.
You're going to be the punching bag."
Put you in a headlock.
Did it happen again after that?
never again.
Okay. Well,
Problem solved.
I mean,
Because I even
Yeah.
go back to the scenario with my brother who thinks very differently than me.
Yeah.
And he came to me and was like, listen, we can no longer agree, and I don't want to have anything to do with you. And it was very, not peaceful, but it was very respectful.
yeah.
It was no like fighting back and forth and, making sure that I had the last word. And
Right.
I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I've been ghosted
Yeah.
by my siblings. One particular sibling, I've been ghosted by them.
Yeah.
But
We have been reunited.
same here.
Yeah. So that's
mean,
really
Okay.
cool.
So
Yeah.
for me, I think a lot of times people get devastated when
Yeah.
family situations arise. Okay, it happens, and lots of them. I think it's how you deal with them.
Yep.
And a couple things. One is, well, speak about being the example, which is what Vanessa said. I think that is the most important thing you could possibly do. Less words, more actions, and being the examples. But I would say when there is conflict, how you respond to that conflict also determines where you are spiritually speaking. And what I mean by that is this. If you harbor resentment, bitterness, anger, and you act on that and you do not have forgiveness, well, shame on you. That doesn't mean that you don't have boundaries. And that doesn't mean you allow yourself to be a doormat. But what that does mean is that you show that in the moments where it counts, that when there's a need for that person, for example, I will say my brother, my brother grew up with 3 sisters. That's a rough existence. Especially with the 3 of us, because we're diametrically all different personalities.
Okay.
And we're all type A.
Oh, wow.
you.
All
That's
4 of
tough.
us.
Okay. That's hard. I do
All
that
4
to
of
your
us are
brother,
mother.
My mom was type A.
Oh,
And so is my dad.
but not your brother.
My brother is too.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone,
Get
the
me out
whole
of here.
family. is.
Everybody in the whole family.
That's
It's bad.
wild.
It is bad. So I feel for him, but at the same time, like he was tough too.
Right.
But that's going to tip over. Here's the thing. So, he's the one that will tend to be like, I need space, which I don't necessarily agree with it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, the only guy out of 3 girls and drama. I mean, girls were not me so much because I'm more like a guy, but even I can still be a girl.
Right.
And like, it's a lot sometimes dealing with all those personalities. And I say that knowing that as much as like we've irritated the tar out of him, where he's really wanted nothing to do with us, and except for like hi bye kind of thing. But I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, and I say this all the time, but beyond a shadow of a doubt, no matter how far into whatever extent of hatred, anger, bitterness, or whatever the man was feeling towards any of us, if I needed one thing, anything, he would have come to my rescue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No matter what state of mind he was towards any of us. And I say that to say to you, can you respond the same way? If your family has a minefield, you're all ticked off at each other, can you get beyond all of that to be there for one another in the clinch? Like, because that really signifies
Yeah.
how deep of a love you have for one another. You may be irritated with each other in this moment, and this time will pass, but really, where do you stand when it comes down to when things really matter?
Right.
And a lot of times people won't be there for each other because they'll allow that anger towards somebody or that hatred towards somebody to get in the way of doing what's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's more Christ-like, to be honest with you. Like, you don't have to like somebody, you have to love them. And love is a commitment. And that means
Yes.
that you get beyond your feelings
Yeah.
in those times and you do
Yes.
what is right.
Love is unconditional.
Without condition.
Yeah. So sometimes the bomb's going to go off. in most homes, a bomb's going to go off, but
Yeah.
like, you got to know this too shall pass.
Yes.
Yes.
We're going to get beyond this.
Yeah.
You don't sit and talk to each other about
Yeah.
one another. You keep it private between the two, because gossip will
Oh
even.
man, that is so true.
Yep.
And I believe that the fact that my brother and I are reunited now, it is because of how I handled that situation. I
Yeah,
could have totally
absolutely.
burned a bridge and we would still be estranged.
Yeah.
And so I saw the fruit of my approach, but also prayer.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
huge.
Yep.
I would say, if you're going to talk about being an example, like, I think there's a great scripture that's referenced in 1 Peter 3:1, and this scripture is in particularly referencing when a woman is married to someone who's not saved, so a lost husband, an
Yeah.
unsaved man. But I think this scripture, it can work for anything. If it can work for a woman praying and believing for her husband that's not saved, I think it would work for a family member. So what it says in 1 Peter 3:1 is, in the same way, you wives must accept the authority of your husbands. Now, that doesn't mean you accept the authority of a family member or whatever the case may be. But this is speaking specifically to wives, that you need to know your husband is the priest of the home. And then it says, then even if some refuse to obey the good news, which is the Bible, Christianity, your godly lives will speak to them without any words. They will be won over. So it's like Vanessa was saying, you don't need to say anything.
Yeah.
Be the example. And oftentimes that speaks louder than words and goes a lot deeper and penetrates the heart more than you even could fathom. Your actions show really a lot of times the depths of your affections towards somebody. And that's profound for a lot of people. And it, again, it'll penetrate their heart. So I think if you stick to that example, like, don't say anything, just be an example. And watch and see. Your family will change. But Tracy, since you don't deal with it, I'll still let you talk.
I would say if you go in, people love talking about themselves. So if you're struggling, like breaking that like tension, if you know anything about them, they just moved. Their son had a kid, like anything, like they started a new job, like ask them about it.
Yeah.
And if you have to have that hard conversation, like, hey, we don't agree on certain things, but I still would love to like be able to see you on Christmas and it's not awkward. Like, let's just like, sometimes you just got to say the hard thing, but then have something ready to talk to them about, and don't talk about yourself. Like just talk to them, ask them all the questions. People love talking about themselves,
They do.
especially men. So
It's true, though.
it is. It's true. And so if you need to break that down, that's probably one way to do it. And just pray. And just pray for your future, too, that you can break this, like,
This cycle.
Yeah. Because my family did. Somewhere down the line, somebody broke it. And we've because we've all served the Lord, we've kept it going. So.
Yeah, that's, I mean, it's super important. It's super important because really the only thing you can take to heaven is your family, and they're a worthy investment. Not only your children, but your siblings and your aunts, uncles, and cousins. This morning in my prayer time, that's one of the things, like, I was praying over. I always, when I pray over salvations, I usually specifically name people that I'm really believing and going after. But then, it's not just them. And this morning I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not naming all of them. But then you do think about it. There's your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your
You start
nephews,
going.
your nieces.
Yeah,
And like,
exactly.
like all of us have
Right.
an enormous amount of people that we want saved.
Yeah.
Yep.
Besides our siblings and our nieces and our nephews.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that need salvation. And I, for one, don't even want my friends or people that I know not to go to heaven.
Right.
So I can't even imagine my family members not being there when I go. So that's the goal. The goal is shut your mouth, live it out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Yep.
Because I think you'll be shocked. You'll see more fruit from that than anything else. So Real Estate Appraisals, Lorna Do sponsors. Real Estate Appraisal Associates of Southwest Florida, Inc. is owned by Laura Keller. They have been in business since 2005. They provide the most accurate certified home appraisal service in Southwest Florida. They have upfront pricing. They have no hidden fees, no waiting for a couple weeks for your appraisal. They will have it done in 2 to 4 days. Why do you need an appraisal? There are many reasons to get one. First, when you sell your home, it removes any concern that you priced it too low, to eliminate paying high estate taxes on a home you inherited, to make sure that you are not paying too much in property taxes because of an inaccurate home valuation, and lastly, so that when you list your home, it's not priced too high and sits on the market for months or longer. Real Estate Appraisal Associates of Southwest Florida are highly trusted and valued. They have done over 10,000 appraisals. They are likely owned and operated for over 30 years. They are a licensed state certified appraiser and are an expert team. Their appraisals have a 100% money-back guarantee. They can provide residential real estate appraisals in the following counties: Charlotte, Sarasota, Manatee, DeSoto, Hillsborough, Pinellas, Lee. And if you give them a call, tell them that you heard about them from the Hope Hotline, and you will receive a $50 discount. If you want to call, you can reach them by 941-743-3700, 941-743-3700. Then there's Hanson's Automotive Services, and they have been in business since 2017 with 20 years experience. They do everything from oil changes to tires to AC work to engine repair and replacement. They're not just motivated to do their best, they are auto-motivated, and their business lives by Proverbs 16:3. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. The number for them is 941-460-3962. And again, 941-460-3962. Next question. Okay, guys, I have no idea. We started talking about this on Friday. I have absolutely no idea about this. And you said this is common, but I was clueless, and I still am. So I have a few things, but I'm gonna probably go to you two because you know more about it than me. Okay. It says, my friend just told me she's deconstructing her faith, and now I'm questioning mine too. I didn't expect to be hit with so much doubt, and I'm scared. Is it wrong to question what I've always believed, and what should I do with all these doubts? So since I didn't have any idea what that meant, I looked up the definition for it. Deconstructing your faith or religious beliefs is a process of systematically questioning and reevaluating your deeply held beliefs and practices. It involves examining the foundation, truthfulness, and impact of your faith, potentially leading to changes or a complete abandonment of your beliefs. Now, let me tell you this. I feel like, to a certain extent, if I'm understanding this correctly, pretty much everybody that I know that grows up in a Christian home, I feel like they do this to a certain extent. I feel like I did this at 18 years of age, 18, 19. And then I walked away from God till I was 24. Because I was like, do I believe what I believe, or do I believe it because my parents told me to believe it?
Yeah. Right.
And through that process, I just totally walked away from Christianity. So is that deconstructing your faith? Is that what that's like? Because a lot of people I know have done this, and it's always right around the same age.
Yeah.
That grew up in Christian homes.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about it, but from my understanding, that's what this is. And I asked ChatGPT.
Okay.
Of course, right?
Yeah. What is it saying?
At its core, it's a personal process of unpacking beliefs, doctrines, and church traditions, often triggered by hurt, disillusionment, moral failure of leaders, or encountering hard questions that the church didn't address well.
See, that wasn't me.
Yeah.
Right. And I think sometimes it is what you did, Hope, and that's part of it. It's not that they lose their faith, but they're modifying it. And sometimes that's for good, and sometimes that's for bad.
Right.
Another one, they're leaving religion completely because of that moral failure and all that kind of stuff. They change from being from religious to spiritual. So like the New Age thing, they'll deconstruct what they learned, and they'll take some Christian stuff and some of this, and then some people just keep the tradition of Christmas and Easter.
And that's what ChatGPT kind of concluded. It says sometimes this results in a stronger, refined faith, and other times it's rejection of Christianity altogether.
Yeah.
So basically, what it's happening when people deconstruct their faith is if like they're not examining, like they are examining, but I was triggered because I was like, do I even want to be a Christian?
Right.
Because I've done this all my life.
Right.
Yeah.
This is because of something that's occurred to make them question Christianity. Correct?
I think
Like-
sometimes. I think it could be
It's a
all.
yeah.
I don't think there's like a reason why people do it, but it is a big thing right now is to deconstruct and like, I guess it could be used for good, but usually it's bad. Like Katy Perry is a good example. She grew up like strict Pentecostal and her dad was a pastor and all that kind of stuff. And now she doesn't even identify as religious at all. She says like, I don't believe in heaven or hell, but I do believe in a higher power.
But
So
yet
it's like,
she's bawling like a baby when they
Right,
do their
during-
faith
because
based.
there's no
CeCe
firm
Winans
foundation.
sang, She was crying.
Yeah.
What did you say, Norma?
When CeCe Winans was singing on American Idol, she was bawling her eyeballs out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because her spirit knows.
Right.
And that's what I think. That's the
Yeah.
reason why, because I think
Yeah.
she says that, all that stuff,
Yeah, does.
Tracy.
Yep.
Right. But
But I don't think
her
that she,
spirit.
I don't think that's what she wants to believe.
what
she
she wants
feels,
to believe, right.
But I don't think that's, I think she knows her heart harkens back to what she grew up in and what she knows to be true. And that void will never be filled, no matter how much money you have, no matter who your husband is,
Right.
how many kids you have.
Yep.
Whether you go to space or not.
That is
You
true.
know?
I think it's a couple of reasons why people do what they do when they, because I did something very similar to you, Mom, when I was about, I think I was 19, but there was more than one reason why I did what I did. It wasn't just because my parents were both pastors and I grew up in it. It wasn't because I was also curious about the world, but there was just a lot of things going on in my head that makes you, it's like kind of like a waterfall effect of once you open one door, all the other doors start opening because you're just opening a very negative thing and you carnally already go to the negative.
So you think, I've already done this, so what's the
so
big
there's
difference
no-
if I do this?
There's no difference. And like one thing that I feel like a lot of females do is that, especially when you're a Christian, you kind of go, I was hurt at this age by this person. Why did God let this happen? Or my thing was more medically. I was hurt medically for a very long time when I was a child. Why did God let that happen? I blamed God instead of taking initiative myself, where I was like, okay, but you were also old enough to know about God and believe in that. And I had to take that responsibility back. Sometimes it's a responsibility thing. You take it and you just blame everything on God and not yourself. So it's easy to open that door and leave. Because you're like, well, if he's not responsible for me, why am I responsible for myself? So you just leave. It's a lot of like, I'm just going through what the doors that opened in my head. There's a lot that goes on when you start to unpack your brain. Because you always go to the negative. Your heart is always going to the negative unless you're a great human being who always goes to the positive. But most of the time, it's always a negative. And as soon as you open one thing, you're going to keep opening more. Because you just keep finding more and more problems that aren't actually problems. It's just you being carnal. So that's more of like how I thought of things when I didn't really leave Christianity. I would say I was lukewarm and then diving into leaving. But I would say basically I was going to hell if I died at one point. So
yeah.
I was on the line a lot.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird mindset. I don't know.
And I think it's usually a thing that happens in a young adulthood too, because
Absolutely, I
of
think
the
so.
prefrontal cortex. It's still
Your frontal lobe isn't
your
fully
frontal lobe.
developed.
Yeah,
I actually think it's more common when you're younger. Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah. I mean, your brain's still figuring out like impulsive control and complex thinking and all those things that your brain doesn't really understand yet. And so you are going to do worst case scenario because
Everything.
you only have the experience that you have, and it feels so big to you because it's your experience, and you're so. Focused on yourself because you're always going to look out for number one. And so
Reality, baby. Number one. Everything's
exactly.
about you.
Everything's about you.
Yeah.
Right.
Blame everything on everybody else except for yourself.
Yep. And then higher education is another issue. Most people go to college. So
Oh,
that
gosh,
starts to put different
opens
ideas
up
in
the
their
door.
head.
Yeah.
A lot of
100%.
people travel, so they experience different cultures. So that makes them think, well, so why, like one of our questions we're going to do next week at Abide is, why do you think Christianity is like the true religion? Like, why is your version true? Why is nobody else's true? And so those questions come into your mind when you start talking to other people and you're outside of your bubble at church that you've been
100%.
in your whole life. You know, you just things. Yeah.
I think it's also about who you surround yourself to, because when I started getting these thoughts, I was working at a restaurant where no one besides one person I knew who was a Christian, and they weren't even that good of a Christian. So like, wasn't good. I was around them 24/7.
Right.
So, and as soon as I divided myself, well, I started to divide myself at the end of working there, but like, if you don't do that and you end up gravitating towards these people, you will turn into these people, and all they do is question themselves every day, all day, drink their life away. You're going to become that same person. You're going to become miserable. It's in the Bible. You're not supposed to be friends with unbelievers. I mean, you can be around them, but you shouldn't be always
Yoked
around
with
them.
Yoked with them,
Yeah.
yep.
So I could say for me, that's where a lot of it started for me, being around
Interesting.
horrible human beings.
Right.
They're not horrible. They're just not saved.
I would say most of them were horrible because they were doing things that I will not say on here, because if they ever see this, they were going to be mad. So most of them are not good. There you go. I'll say that. Not good.
And you need a savior.
Do you think
Yes.
do you think that certain denominations open the door to the deconstructing of faith?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because I think that's,
Yes.
I feel like there are certain denominations that are very permissible about certain things like sin, and that grace covers it. So you use grace as an excuse to get away from doing what is right.
Yeah.
I think so.
So then you begin to question, well, is that really a sin?
Yeah.
Is it really wrong to do that?
Even on the
100%.
other end of the spectrum, where, you know, how I grew up, where like even wearing, you know, pants was a sin.
Yeah, which is
Or
ridiculous.
going to the movie theater was a sin.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That seems to be,
Yeah.
it's the extreme, like it's the extreme Pentecostal
Yeah.
churches that aren't living out what they say.
Right.
So they're worshiping so hardcore.
and they use
There's-
religion as a weapon.
Yeah.
Or like Amish.
Yeah, the
Yeah, yeah,
Amish.
The
Yeah.
Mennonites.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
it's
You have to
so
poop
extreme.
outside.
That's
Yeah,
so
it's so
You
extreme.
can't even go to
extreme.
the bathroom inside your house because it's seen as like you're not supposed to have like
Right.
dirtiness in your. It's like a whole thing. It's
And
a
they
lot.
call sin, what they call things that are not sin.
Right.
And so when you start reading the Bible for yourself and you start like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I feel like I've been lied to.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and like
100%.
and that could either draw you closer to
Make
God
you run away.
and refine you,
Yeah.
or it can pull you away. You're like, forget this.
I feel like it's either the extreme extremes or the extreme lazy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
walks that there's no, if you're not in the medium, which is the broad way, like, you know,
Yeah.
broad is the way. And if you find it, that's because you have to be perfectly not in the middle of like obviously worldly, but in the middle of the extreme, in the middle of lazy. Because if you go anywhere outside of that, you're either going to hate God or not
Sure.
care about God. You have to be in the middle where you hold the line with certain things that you know, and then also be like, all right, but
Right.
it's also, if you mess up, you're not going to hell immediately. Make it right. You wear pants, Vanessa, you're not going to hell. Like, it's like you know, it's like a fine line between these things, and it's kind of difficult to understand.
Yeah.
Makes my brain start to hurt.
No, but you're right. It is. It's the extreme on both sides. And I can think of two different people. One that was in a lukewarm church and they completely walked away. And because there was no power and no anointing. So they're just like, you get bored. And then I can think
Yeah.
of the other ones that were in, like you couldn't wear certain things. You couldn't go places. You
Crazy.
couldn't have a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
You know, all the things. And then
Yeah.
they're like, but I just want to be able to, I can't do Halloween. And so
Yeah.
you're like, I just want to be able to enjoy my family. I don't want to
Yeah.
have all these rules. Like, I'd
Yeah.
rather just be a good person, do good things, do Christmas. Like, sure, Jesus was born. That's fine. You know, and he just like, and it's so sad. But really, it's our responsibility. Like, if you hear something that doesn't sit right in your spirit and you see that it's not in the Bible, like, don't get mad at people about
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
I understand when you're young because you trusted them, but like, the Bible's even clear about that. Like, count every man a liar and God's word be true. So you have to like,
Ownership. You got to take
you
ownership.
do have to
Yeah.
take ownership over your own walk with God.
Yeah. Work
That's
out
too
your
hard,
own
Tracy.
Well,
It's
work
easy to
out your
blame
own
people.
salvation with fear and trembling.
Exactly.
And a lot of times people
Exactly.
aren't working it out. They're expecting
Right.
somebody to dictate to them
Right.
what they should believe, what they should not believe. And the thing is you really should be in your own word.
Exactly.
Yes.
You should be studying it out.
And some people love to be a victim, so they
Yes.
Yeah.
they go into this like club. We're all deconstructing,
Ugh.
and they're like bond over it.
Yeah.
It's almost like everybody needs a mentor to guide them in everything they do. It's like that is
Yes.
not life.
Yeah.
Life is you come into this world alone, you die in it alone, okay? You got this.
Have you been
Everybody
hanging
can
out
do
with
it on
Jeff?
their own. It's fine. Grow mentally and you can do it. You're in the world naked, you come into it naked, you're going to leave naked. So
You're not wrong.
you got this.
I was just reading Ecclesiastes, and that's literally what he talks about. No matter if I
See?
make a ton of money or make no money,
leave it. You leave
the
it
rich
empty.
die and the
Everything
poor
is
die.
meaningless.
Everybody
everything is
dies. So why
meaningless.
like make this more difficult than it has to be?
That would have been Norma's book of the Bible. She had
What?
to write it.
Ecclesiastes?
Everything is meaningless.
Well, it is. At the end of the day, everything you have is not even yours.
It's
Oh
true.
my God.
It's
She's not
yours.
wrong. She's
when
not
you get to
wrong.
heaven, nothing's. Well, I mean, it is yours, but like everything is still
Is that
God.
the-
So
the
like,
book where it
give
says
up.
There's a time to cry.
Yes.
There's a
Yes.
time
Yes.
to mourn. There's
To
a
kill.
time to
No, let's stop
Yeah.
crying and let's get over things and let's grow up.
Take
There's
Norma's
a
word.
season.
There's a season for crying. Let it be freaking short. No one
my
wants to be around a
gosh.
crier anyway, too. That's why God pushed him out of the house. Get out.
I mean,
Nobody wants to be
not
No
around.
one
a
wants to be
crier.
around a whiny baby all the time.
it's true.
So have your 10
Don't be a whiny
minutes, as
baby.
my mom has told me. All right, whenever something bad has gone on in my life,
Yeah.
you
What
got
do you
10
get?
minutes. Cry it out, get mad at the devil, and get on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got. She's like, you have your day. Now move on.
I like it.
I liked it. It stuck with me, and I went, don't ever be a whiny baby. You're
Don't
fine.
be a whiny baby.
Don't be a whiny baby.
Yeah.
If you're over the age of 12, stop.
Yeah.
Or a girl.
That's a gauge.
That's a good age. After
Mm-hmm.
12, you're a teenager.
Yeah.
No one should be crying.
Well, I mean,
Cry when somebody dies. I got you there. I'm going to bawl
This is
all
Hope's,
day.
in case you don't know, this
Or
is
pets.
Hope's daughter.
I cried
Also,
all day.
Tom Lightfoot's
So,
daughter.
I'm just kidding. I didn't cry.
You're right.
She doesn't
Nobody
cry.
believes
My
you.
dad cries only at Hallmark.
True.
Okay. That's about it. I have seen my mom cry maybe 3 times ever. And one of them was for a breakfast I made for her on Mother's Day. So it wasn't even something sad.
She doesn't cry for
She
sad
does not
things.
cry.
She
So-
cries for Jesus and
yeah.
breakfast.
Oh, yeah. So I've never seen her crumble under pressure. No one else has a right. She's
No,
a
she
woman.
doesn't.
The girl don't crumble.
Oh,
doesn't.
that is so flippin' funny.
What?
She cries for Jesus and breakfast.
Jesus and breakfast.
That's it.
And-
Mother's Day
no,
breakfast.
and- yeah. I'm trying to think. Literally every single other time, it's somebody died.
Oh, okay.
Even then, I've seen her not cry over people dead. So it's
True.
like,
Same.
no soul, man. She recently did a TikTok where
I
it
know.
shows her like what's your song, and it's a song about having no soul.
I know. It's like, no way. She's like, yes, why?
Yes, that was the song she got.
What's the
Vanessa
thing
should
called?
be.
What is it? What was it called?
I take that.
What'd you say, Mom?
What's that thing called on TikTok? Something your song search or something like
No,
that?
what like search what's my song?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was called You're Numb.
You're numb. That's what it was. You're numb. That's my mom.
Literally, it was called.
Try growing up with that when you're
You're
really
numb.
excited about something. She goes, "That's great. I'm so happy for you."
So
You're,
funny.
you're numb.
Also, when you're like feel like your world's ending. All right.
It's like,
you're
what
fine.
is up with this song? Like,
When
holy
she
crap!
played it in the kitchen for me, Tommy, and Talia, and I was like,
What is this?
and Jagger was on the phone, I believe, and he's like, what is that song? I'm like, that's my mom's life song.
That's her theme song.
That's her theme song. It's great.
I don't know.
Okay.
Deconstructing,
Yeah.
it's dangerous. That's all I'm going to tell you. I think
Somebody
it's
put in the comment it's actually what going back to what we were just saying about like whatever about like mindsets. Somebody said, or even if you don't have to think because once saved, always saved. If you have that mindset, it's also like bad. You'll do whatever the crap you want, and
Right.
you'll make yourself miserable, and then you wonder why you're miserable because you're sinning, and you don't really think you're sinning, but it still makes you miserable.
Yep.
Like, ugh.
that's a very confusing theology to me. I've never believed it. I mean, I wasn't
I've
allowed
tried.
to even date somebody who was a Calvinist. My
Calvinist?
dad, no, I
Is
wasn't
that what-
allowed to
is that
date
who it is?
Catholics,
Calvinists that believe that?
and I
Okay.
wasn't allowed to date Baptists.
What's the Baptist belief on that? Is it the same thing?
Calvinist.
Well, I know that. What's the difference
same.
between a Calvinist and a Baptist?
Baptists John Calvin is the doctrine that they follow. Baptists believe
They follow. So they
it's
once
John-
saved, always saved as well. Baptists are okay.
or they believed never saved.
Never saved.
So they believe
Right.
that you said the sinner's prayer, but you never meant
You
it.
didn't mean it, right.
So you were never saved to begin with.
What about Catholic then? What's
That's
like the difference between
wild.
what's a Catholic?
Which, here's the thing. I walked away from God, right? So I was talking, and I've asked several people who are Calvinists this question. Because the associated related churches is once saved, always saved.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Elevation Church, all of those
I didn't know
churches. Oh, they're all Calvinist.
clue.
Yeah, they all believe in,
Ew, gross.
and they're that's the doctrine. But then their messages preach that. So if you're in Assemblies of God church, which there's plenty of them that preach, they use that curriculum, or that they use those tools, which is their sermons. You're preaching that theology, and that's not a part of your doctrine, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
But
But what I said to somebody one time, because when I walked away from the Lord, before I walked away from the Lord, I was like 19 years old, 18, 19 years old. I was 19. And I legitimately remember saying to my best friend at the time, I think I'm going to give the God thing a break for a while. And they were like, they had already gotten their life right with God. They had walked away for a couple years themselves and had just gotten, and they're like, you don't want to do that. And I'm like, no, I do.
that was God right there.
I
trying
do.
To, like, stop.
I think I'm gonna give it a break a while and see what's out there. And so I verbalized that, walked away, lived like a hellion till I was 24 years old, came back to Christianity. And I was talking to somebody who is Baptist, or I think they went to a Baptist church, but they believed in once saved, always saved. And I was saying to them, like, because they were trying to share this doctrine with me, and I was like, okay, let me ask you this, because I walked away, I verbalized that I was walking away, and then I lived in sin. And they were like, well, you were still saved. And I'm like, how can that be? I verbally said I'm turning my back on Christianity, and I lived in sin. And I can promise you, if I had died in that state, I would have never gone to heaven. They're like, no, you would have. And I'm like, no. How can I verbally say I'm turning my back on Christianity? And they were like, well, and I'm paraphrasing, well, then you were never saved to begin with. And I said, okay, well, if I was never saved to begin with, and you could have never convinced me from 5 years of age when I got saved, which I clearly remember giving my heart to the Lord. Okay. It was so profound. I still remember it to this day. Giving my heart at the altar to the Lord. That from 5 to 19 years of age, I lived like I was a believer, like I am right now. I was a youth leader. I went to church. I didn't do anything that the other kids did. I loved the Lord. And if you're telling me I was never saved to begin with from 5 to 19, and then I got my heart right with the Lord, how do I know I'm saved right now then?
Exactly.
And they were
Starting
like,
to hurt my head.
well, that's a good question. And I'm like, your
Right.
theology makes absolutely no sense.
Yep.
None whatsoever. And it's throughout the word. And then when you bring them those scriptures that clearly say,
falling away.
they have nothing to say with it.
Right.
No.
All they say is that no man can take you out of God's hands,
Right.
which is in Timothy.
Right.
I believe it's Timothy.
I think
And
so too.
And I'm like, I know I know that no man can take you out of God's hands. That is an actual fact, 100%. But you can remove yourself
Yeah.
from his
Specific
hands
falling
by the
away, the book of
decisions you
life,
make.
all that.
And like me verbally saying, I'm going to, I know that I decided to remove myself from his hand.
Yeah.
So I just think that theology is, and so for me, if you're deconstructing that theology, that would be kind of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Messed up.
messed up and
Yeah.
kind of scary.
Yeah.
And I do think that what Norma, you said is it's you're in peril, I think, because
Yeah.
if you're living one way and you're convicted because the Lord's going to convict you and guilt is going to come calling, or you're going to condemn yourself because you know that lifestyle, as much as you want to live in this sin, you know it is not parallel to the Word of God.
Yep.
Just because innately the Word says that we all know we know right from wrong.
Absolutely. I did. I knew it. So
So
did she.
so did I.
Yeah,
so
so
like,
did you.
and I also knew I was going straight to hell.
I
But in
say.
those moments, I did not care.
I cared a little, but not enough.
I did not care.
You didn't care. Wait,
So
okay,
for
one
me-
question. What's a Catholic then? What's their
Catholicism,
Yeah, what's Catholic then? Because just for me.
it's a religion that has a whole bunch of doctrines, and
Is it
one
the same thing though? Like once saved, always saved? Two or
No.
No.
they don't believe in that, but they don't believe you really can ever not go to heaven. They
Right.
believe that you
So
can,
everybody
if you die, if enough people pray for you,
Yeah.
you're in purgatory, and you
True.
can go.
What?
You can
Yes.
be prayed into heaven.
Purgatory?
Yes.
There's a lot of things with Catholicism.
What the
It's ve-
crap is that?
It's just a lot
I
of
had to
things to
attend
it.
a
It's
lot
very
of those
complicated.
There's an in between.
In between.
What is this? Stranger Things?
Like the underworld, yeah.
Yeah.
The upside down? We're going to the upside down before they pray us out?
Yeah.
You all better pray me out of that purgatory. I'll be so upset. Mom, you better be number one prayer right there. Actually, you'll probably be dead.
Exist.
I'm saying if it actually does, you guys better
It does
pray me
not.
It
out.
doesn't, don't worry.
It does not
I know,
exist.
but I'm just joking. If it was real, all of you that are watching, you better pray me out of that thing. Actually, they probably don't like
And
me.
they
Don't do that.
they believe in baptism too, that you have
They
to
do?
that's the beginning of your
yeah, that's why they
journey to
baptize
salvation.
babies.
Yeah.
Are
And
they
then
the
Which is why,
dunkers
yeah.
that are dunking their children
But they
so
don't
hard?
dunk. They just
Oh.
do.
Some
They just
do.
give you a
I've
droplet
seen
of
them
water.
be like,
Me too. I've seen them like dunk
they are.
babies
What is
in
it?
there.
Oh my gosh.
But that's not the norm, though.
No, that's not the norm.
No,
But
it's
I've
not.
seen
It's
it
usually
happen.
a little tap tap.
They're
on the head.
drowning those
Yeah.
babies.
You have to do sacraments.
What's that?
You have to like have ongoing grace for living a holy life. So there's like things that you have to do to make sure that you're living holy at all
You have to
times.
confess to the
The
priest.
confessions
You
and
have to go
repentance.
Is
into the
that
confessional.
that's what it
That's
is?
the only
Catholics
way
do that.
you become
There's
restored
prayers
grace.
that you
priest will hear-
recite.
Imagine you have to confess all my the sins to my
And
dad.
The
Ew.
priest, and the priest will hear what you said, and then he'll like a prescription
Yes.
pad. He'll be like, okay, now you do 5 Hail Marys,
Yep.
to Our Fathers, and then you'll be good.
And
to
priests
go.
don't get married, and nuns don't get married.
Right.
Bro, what is this? But aren't we not supposed to call anybody else father
Father,
on
yeah.
earth, and we're calling these idiots father?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Bruh.
Bruh. And the
Ew, I don't
priest
wanna call somebody else my
reads the
dad.
Bible to you. You don't read the Bible yourself.
Yeah, it's not encouraged
Wait,
for you to read
Yeah.
the
They
Bible.
don't read the Bible and
No,
as a
only
Catholic?
only the priest can read it, and it's a different Bible.
What?
It has different books in it.
You know what I think is hilarious, but not in a funny ha-ha way?
I'm so
I think this is hilarious how priests will read in Latin and nobody speaks it. And you're sitting there listening to the priest read to you in Latin the Bible, and the whole entire time you have no idea what he's saying.
No.
No clue.
But you don't read it, go home and read it.
No.
So you don't know anything that he just said.
It is. It is.
And you don't know, like, I mean, it's
Is
like,
this who the Pope Francis was? Was this Catholic?
Yeah,
The
this
Pope-
is Catholic.
The Popes
The
are
Pope is
Popes are
Catholic.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm understanding. I've just never cared to research any of this because I thought it was
interesting.
all gay.
Yeah,
So
it's interesting.
It's
It is
very
interesting.
Very
fascinating.
interesting.
this is weird. This is
study it out.
some
It's so-
odd demonic crap. Who I'm
crazy.
not calling anybody else father. Are you what?
You don't want
And I have to tell you about what I did. You don't want to know what I did.
oh my gosh.
You don't want to know what my mom did either. She was crazy.
Thank you, Norma.
She has some stories.
Listen, mom got some stories. Dad's got some stories.
True.
It's all good.
Imagine having to
Everybody's got
confess
stories.
everything. Oh yeah, 100%. But why would you want to tell it to just some rando
have
man
to,
that's
'cause
in
you
a
wanna go
box?
to heaven.
If you're Catholic,
Yeah.
He is rando. Okay, this guy could be diddling kids on the side, and you're
Oh
telling
my gosh.
and you're
Norma.
telling him your sins.
That's a big
Bull
thing up north.
crap. It's
it
common.
is.
It's very common.
It was pretty rapid up north.
Ugh.
I didn't know that was the Catholics. I just knew it wasn't my church. So
Anybody
that's
who's
all I
Catholic is
cared
now
about.
turned off the
Catholic.
podcast.
I know.
What'd you say?
It's true. It's true.
I'm just kidding. I'm going to
I
get
can't hear
banned
what
and
you say
suspended
anyway.
again.
Again.
I'm gonna get her absolutely in trouble. That's
all right. I do want to answer this one question
do
really
it.
quick before
Yeah.
we move to the next
go for
thing.
it.
But it's this one is I feel for this. It says I've been here. I've been here.
Oh, Mom.
I'm a mom of 3 little kids. Not that I had 3 kids because I only had 2. But I'm a mom of 3 little kids, and honestly, I can't remember the last time I had a quiet time that didn't get interrupted by a diaper blowout or a meltdown. I love God, but my spiritual life feels non-existent right now. Is this just a season, or am I failing? I think you're doing both. But here's the thing. I mean, I don't think there is not a mama in the room that does not feel like this person.
That makes me sad though a little bit.
Yeah. I think that because sometimes you feel stretched so thin, that quiet time. I remember when I homeschool my kids, and I literally would be like, I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be out in 10 minutes. I didn't have to go to the bathroom. I needed quiet time. So I'd literally be like, I'm getting away from both of you right now. I'm going to go into the bathroom, and I'll see you in 10 minutes. I literally would go in there, and I'd cry.
I don't
did
blame
cry.
you. We were horrible.
I did cry. I would cry sometimes, or I'd just sit there and go, make the 10 minutes last really, really long. Stretch out the 10 minutes, Lord. I'm
makes me not wanna
dying.
have kids.
Please, God, help me.
This-
Because when you're a mom, like, you don't, for me, I did have friends, and I did sit on the phone and I would talk to them. Okay. But like, I was very present with my kids. And like, homeschooling makes you very present with your kids.
probably too present.
And I actually enjoyed the rule when they were really little and they were in the diapers and they were running around. That was, for me, that was easy.
Yeah.
Except for Tommy, he gave me a little bit of running for my money. But as soon as I whipped him into shape, I was doing great.
I was gonna say you got him.
But for me, it was like grade school age when you're trying to teach them all the things. And spiritually speaking, keep it all together yourself and still teach them the spiritual things. That was tough. But I don't think there's anybody that hasn't ever felt like they were spiritually failing because they're like they had no quiet time. That doesn't mean that it's acceptable, and it doesn't mean that you stay in that place, because I think when everybody, including myself, felt like that, I kicked myself into gear and did what I had to do to get myself out of that. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
And you make the small little moments count. Like nap time and
Yes.
maybe getting up a little earlier than the kids or going to bed later.
Yep.
You find the time, but also getting like, especially our church, we have a lot of hub groups, and we have childcare available for those hub groups, like making sure that you're plugged in
Yeah.
as well.
Which is super important. I made a list of things that I think that first of all, I think if you don't do what Vanessa was saying, if you don't get things, I call them course corrections. If you don't make the course corrections, I think that you need to look at down the road, big picture. And I think that there'll be lots of regret if you don't get this taken care of. One would be you want to be the best mom that you can possibly be. Don't have quiet time with the Lord and the prayer time and see what happens, because you're going to find out you won't be the best mom. I know of what I speak. You'll not be the example for your kids, and your kids need to see the example of somebody who does have quiet time with the Lord, prayer time, Bible time, going to church, being around people that you're like-minded. I think that you'll miss, there'll be a time frame of like Tom says that he wishes, and I do too, there's time that is lost when you don't spend time with God. Catching up and making up that time is not easy.
Yeah.
It's actually very, very difficult. And then you'll have the regret of, I lost all this time. Now how long is it going to take me to get into the ministry that God's called me to do? Either why your kids, once you get past to a certain place with your children, you're going to know that God's got something more for you than that. And then you're going to be like, I'm behind the 8 ball because I wasted so much time scrolling, watching TV, talking on the phones, because you really do have time. If you evaluated your day, if you truly evaluated your day, you would sit there and say, I make time to do the things that I like to do first, which is probably TV, screen time, talking on the phones with your friends, reading books, magazines. I used to read a Papal magazine, and I literally stopped reading People magazine. And it was back then, back when People magazine wasn't anything like it is today. But I was like, I felt convicted. I'm like, you don't read your Bible, but you sure have time for People magazine. And you would be shocked because I'd be like, I don't have time. But when you literally lay out your day, and if you said the thing, because everybody, and I tell people this all the time, everybody does one thing every day. They do one thing that they love every single day. I mean, all of us do. And if you didn't allow yourself to do that one thing until you had spent time in prayer and Bible study, you'd make sure you did the prayer and Bible study.
Facts.
True.
You just would.
Yeah.
I had to do that recently.
You just would. So priorities. Where's your priorities? And you got to put everything into perspective. But it's like you said, kids have nap time.
Yeah.
During nap time, instead of doing chores like I used to do during nap time, I would do chores. I would start doing the dishes. I would vacuum the floor. I would clean the bathrooms. Okay, all that can wait. That's not priority. Your walk with God is. Vanessa said, get up early. People actually have jobs. Get up early so they can have prayer time
Yeah.
with the Lord.
Yeah.
So if somebody who has a job to do, just like you do,
Right.
and goes to work in their car, but make sure that they get up early and have that time with the Lord, you can too. Or before you go to bed, if you're like me, I'm a night owl, okay? Because some people aren't morning people. Then do it before you go to bed. Make sure you set aside that time for the Lord. You can do it. It's not that hard. And then the other thing is a lot of times we spend a lot of time in the car.
Yeah.
You can devote prayer time
Yeah.
in that car time. You can devote to listening to the word while you're in the car instead of putting on music for the kids or whatever it is for them. A lot of times people have movies that they play in their cars for their kids. You can actually have an earbud in your ear and listening to your phone and the word. There's all different kinds of ways you can get yourself filled up with scripture and with time with God. Be creative.
Right. Right.
Be creative because you can do it.
I think the common is to kind of like be in survival mode during childhood, and
gosh,
the
yes.
uncommon is to thrive.
Right.
And I believe we can thrive in motherhood. It just takes intention and priorities. Like Jeff says this all the time. Don't quit saying you don't have time. Just say it's not a priority.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
It's
right,
so
though.
true, though.
Yeah.
It's very, very true because whatever's important to you, you make
Yeah.
sure you do all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like when people say, I'm too busy to call or I'm too busy, I don't have time to call somebody. No, they're just not important enough for you to call them because if they were, you'd make sure you did it. That's the facts. That's the same way this is.
Yeah.
It's no different. It's no different. We make time for what we really want to do. And I'm on the other side of it. You guys are on the other side of it. We don't have small babies, but I can promise you this. If you don't want to live with regret like I do, because there were things that I could have done differently.
Same.
Now my kids are grown and I can't get that time back. Okay? But I could have been a much better mother, much better wife if I would have had my perspective correct continuously instead of always playing catch up. It's not good. And you will be miserable and you'll feel like you do right now if you don't get it right. Trust me on this. I do know. So,
Very true.
but there's hope
Yes.
because tomorrow's a new day.
Yes.
Tomorrow's a new
Actually,
day.
there's
Praise the Lord.
tonight. So you can do
Today.
it tonight.
Yep. Right now. We're
Heck
ending.
yeah.
This
And
minute
if you
is a
live
new
in the
minute.
area, we have great groups. Like Monday nights, we have a women's group.
Yep.
Yep.
Then Tuesday mornings, if you don't work, which
Come
sounds
on.
like you don't,
Come on over.
we got their abide group, which is Tuesday
Morning.
Tuesday mornings. Then, I mean, gosh darn, there's married couples on Wednesdays. There's
have a lot of hubs.
the Skylar and Janelle's, which is
Essentials, Love and
phenomenal.
Respect.
Like all childcare. You want to know more about the
Virtuous
word?
women,
Then flip
yeah.
and go to Janelle and Skylar's
Heck
because
Yeah.
it's off the charts,
so
like
good.
cream of the crop of a Bible study.
They're amazing. I love them.
There's just so many different ways for you to plug in.
Yeah.
And you just need to do it. So, that is all I got to say. You got anything to say? Trace?
I was going to say the last thing you said, so you pretty much took the words out of my mouth.
Which
So,
was?
well, I was going to say that and you kind of said it too, is that when you have the amount of time that you do, even if it's a small amount of time, just do it anyways. And then just pray that God expedites that. And then the last thing you said, as soon as you started saying it, I was like, that's what I was going to say. And now I can't remember what it was because I'm trying to respond to Anne Marie that it's Stephen Furtick is what she's asking. I don't know. The last thing you said, what did she say last? I know. I was like, oh, that's good. The last thing
Getting
you said.
involved with other,
No,
with hub groups?
Right before that.
Oh, not having regret?
Yes, that. Yes. And because the thing is, you don't have to study your Bible, but in 10 years from now, you're probably going to be in the exact same spot that you are right now. So it's one or the other. Either you just are okay with in 10 years from now being in the same exact spot, doing the same thing, spiritually, financially, mentally, or every opportunity that you get, even if it's a small amount of time, just pray that God just increases that time, even if you only have 5 minutes. And just make him a priority. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added onto you. So
Yeah. Which is, you don't seek him so you can get those things,
No.
but just know they're
they
coming.
come. It's his promise. Yeah,
They're just going to come. The motive of the heart.
I know.
Make the
So
motive
good.
pure. I'll watch him pour out.
Exactly.
Amen.
It's huge.
Yep.
It's a huge thing. So thank you for joining us today. I hope that helped some young mama out there. And you know, men feel it too.
Yes.
Men feel it
sure.
too. Theirs is just different because theirs is work. Like they have to get up and provide for their home. Hopefully they're getting up. And some women are mama and providing for the home as well.
Yeah.
That's like you probably feel as lost as last year's Easter egg, trying to do all things to all people. Listen, it's a wonderful, rich time in life to have small children.
It is.
And it
really
lasts for
is.
such a short period of time. You had twins. If anybody, dear lords,
I know.
Yeah. Oh my
I know.
gosh.
It was wild. It was a wild time. But it was the best. I loved being a mom. I loved it so much. And I
You're still a mom.
I know. I love being a mom to young
They're
children.
adults?
I know. I feel like
Yeah.
they're like my
Some are
friends
adults
now.
and stuff too.
But yeah, no, I loved it so much. And I would read the Bible with them. I just find stuff that they could understand. And even if they didn't get every single thing, like I found a way to do Bible study with them. And then when they walked away, then I opened my Bible and did my own thing.
Yeah.
And just be in relationship with the Lord. Talk to him all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Talk
We
to him
would
about
always
everything.
have like worship music playing, and they would
Yeah.
dance to it,
Yep.
and we would,
Yep.
make it a little thing.
Yep.
And it was just a lifestyle. It
Right.
was
Same.
everything we did was it flowed through
Yep.
our faith, and
Yep.
so important.
Yeah.
It really is.
Making first things first.
yeah,
Always.
Always. And listen, in the end, when you do that, it will pay off in
It will.
dividends.
Yes.
I can promise you that.
And you're
Yes.
gonna blink, and your kids are gonna be teenagers.
It's
It
insane.
happens so fast.
And
so
people
fast.
say that all the time.
know.
I
No,
used
it
to
really
remember
happens.
saying that.
Me
People
too.
say that to me all the time, and
I
I'd be
know.
thinking, yeah, right. But I can promise you,
Yeah, it's so weird. Time
is
is weird.
they hit double digits. You blink, and
I
they're
feel like
graduates.
Once they hit like elementary school, it just flies.
It really
It
does.
really does.
It's so sad in so many ways, but it's also so rich.
fun. I know.
I mean,
I know.
I have absolutely loved every season
Me
of
too.
my kids'
I
life.
have teenagers now, and people are like, "Oh, teenagers, puberty." I'm like, "Yeah, maybe
They're
that was
fun.
your
I know.
experience, but like, I love it. I
I
love,
love it.
my kids. I
Me
love
too.
being around them. I love having conversations with them,
Yeah.
especially now because they're like mini adults,
Right.
So
Especially
we,
Emma.
And
Yeah, oh my
Sister
gosh.
Claire. We laugh at the same things. You
Right.
know, we
She
find
is
your
the
best
same things
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
They do become.
They're-
Listen, they do become your friends. You're still
Yeah.
a parent, though. So be more of a parent than a friend. But they
True.
do
True.
become your friends. And that is super special.
It is totally.
Super special.
Really
so
is.
I'm going to sneeze. So we're going to go so you don't have to hear that. But happy Wednesday. See you on Friday. Bye.
Real talk.